We went over the 2021 movies that will suck. Okay, we'll have to pull up the numbers as well. Numbers as well. Because numbers also has a lot of movies that are not on here. So there's a lot of movies that were pretty much all delayed. And we went over the movies that suck, so we're going over all the movies that will be good. And no, not many of them will be animated movies. I'm sorry, the animated curse will still continue into 2021. And some of the others I have no interest in. So yeah, don't expect animated movies. Oh, animated movies are so big. Oh, no, we're not. Okay, so we're going from the bottom to the top. The first movie is The Kingsman. Despite Fox buying Disney, it does seem the Kingsman series was pretty great. It was pretty entertaining and funny, and just overall great. And now we're getting a third Kingsman movie. I think this is supposed to be a prequel as a whole, you know. And yeah, the Kingsman is going to probably be a pretty great and entertaining movie, you know. And yeah, what was it? Okay, I had to find the movies. Well, okay, most anticipated, you know, most anticipated. And yeah, that's basically it about that movie. Kingsman. I didn't see the trailer, but again, it's in the part of the Kingsman series. Again, it might be disappointing considering Disney's making it now. But this is one of the projects that Fox was making before Disney bought it, so maybe it'll probably be good. Next movie on the list is. Oh, I didn't go over Thomas Anderson worst movies of 2021. That will not suck. Yeah, I already made a whole video about that one anyway. So, next movie on the list is Morbius. I watched the trailer and it looks pretty interesting. A lot of these Spider-Man solo movies, Sony, extend into the Spider-Man universe, Spider-Man the Spider-Verse, Venom, they all have been good. And Morbius seems to be, and yeah, it was delayed. It was supposed to come out this summer, but it was delayed, obviously. It was now supposed to come out in March 19th, 2021. And yes, I think Morbius will probably be a pretty interesting and unique movie, you know, considering it's a movie about vampires and stuff. And vampires have been vampires have been hit or miss of audiences. Most people associate vampires with Twilight, which is also just pretty sad. There can be good movies that can be made out of, good stories about vampires that's not like Twilight or something like that. But Twilight, of course, I think really ruined the public's perception of vampire movies. Now all people think vampire movies is like Twilight. This is gonna be like more like the movie. What was that movie called again? More like the movie Underworld, where it's about the action, not about the love story. Well, it's about like the vampires doing stuff that vampires do and stuff. And yeah, I think it'll be a pretty interesting movie. Overall, Morbius will be a pretty interesting and unique movie. He is a Spider-Man villain as well. And it's good to see backstories of Spider-Man villains such as Venom and now Morbius. Maybe we could see a Mysterio movie sometime, but again, Mysterio's are in the MCU, so that's gonna be a pretty difficult thing, you know. So yeah, there we go. That is next movie is Godzilla vs Kong. It's not, yeah, Godzilla vs Kong, of course. Godzilla, King of the Monsters, great movie, very, you know, good movie basically, and yeah, so you know, it's a very, very, Godzilla King of the Monsters is pretty great as well, and yeah, Godzilla will probably continue to have good movies. This is supposed to wrap up the MonsterVerse, so I don't know how to do it. And so I finally got to here. It's supposed to wrap up the MonsterVerse, which will be pretty good. To finally wrap up the MonsterVerse, and it'll be a pretty good and fun movie to watch. Next movie is Jurassic World Dominion. Jurassic World Dominion is the third movie in the Jurassic Park franchise. Of course, Fallen Kingdom was disappointing. It wasn't that great. But hopefully Dominion will kind of be like the third Jurassic Park movie. The second one was disappointing as well. The second Jurassic Park movie as a whole was pretty disappointing. But Jurassic Park 3 was a lot of kind of like the second Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park 2 Lost World was pretty disappointing, but World was still a blast to watch. The main will probably hopefully be the same experience as well. Next is Venom Let There Be Carnage. Venom was a very fun, entertaining movie. Of course, the dumb critics said it was horrible, but Venom Let There Be Carnage was a very, very, very great movie. The Venom 1 was very, very great. I really want to see this movie. This movie was supposed to release in the beginning of October, but they delayed it to summer of 2021. I can't wait to see this movie. Next movie is Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun was a pretty fun and entertaining movie to watch, and the fact that and this is supposed to be like, you know, Top Gun, like when he's like very like much older, you know, he isn't the same guy he used to be. He's an experienced pilot and stuff, and I really like to see what they go with the story. Next movie is surprisingly the Suicide Squad. Because it's all because James Gunn is making it. James Gunn basically abandoned Marvel, the whole stuff from Marvel. So DC said, okay, we have this guy who makes these movies, made these movies called Guardians of the Galaxy. They're very classic movies that are pretty, have the, you know, made it work. And yeah, basically, he'll probably redeem the Suicide Squad movie, those series as a whole. And maybe it'll be the one time where the sequel is better than the original. Suicide Squad was kind of like a mediocre movie. It wasn't the best movie. It wasn't the worst movie. It was kind of just mediocre as a whole. And Suicide Squad is pretty good. Next movie, this wasn't on the list last time, but that was the Hitman's Wife Bodyguard. I saw Hitman's Bodyguard. It was a pretty fun movie. It was basically a typical buddy comedy. And it was pretty great, especially with Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds being the two main actors. It was a pretty good movie. Now, and yeah, next movie is The Batman. Of course, a lot of people don't like the fact that Robert Pattinson is in it. And yeah, I won't be surprised him being in Tenet is also one of the reasons why Tenet is underperforming at the box office. Because people can't get over the fact that he was in Twilight. Same thing with Morbius. Like vampires as a whole, Robert Pattinson had a very, very, very bad, you know, reputation because of Twilight. Unlike Kristen Stewart, who has made nothing but bad movies, Robert Pattinson has basically tried to, you know, redeem his movie career, and I think he has been doing a pretty good job with redeeming his movie career. I think it's kind of be like Tom Hardy. Well, he was in a few bad movies, and now nobody hates him. He didn't, and there's even a rumor that Tom Hardy was set to replace James Bond in the future. But yep, it doesn't act. And this movie also had the Riddler. The Riddler is going to be a pretty good villain. And it's also supposed to be a standalone movie, not part of the DCEU, which again, the DCEU isn't that great to begin with, because there's only like 3 good movies in the DCEU, a few decent ones, and that's Batman vs. Superman. The last movie on here is another DC movie, Black Adam. Of course, it's the origin of basically the evil version of Shazam, the evil, what they kind of really hinted at in the first Shazam movie about Black Adam, and basically what this is a pretty smart decision for DC to do. Go into the backstory of the villains. I think they really learned that from Joker, that this stuff works. That going into the backstory of villains does work. And now we're seeing Loki get his own backstory. Maybe we'll someday see Thanos get a movie about his backstory as well. And yeah, basically it's, and we're going to the honorable mention movies here. Basically, any of the MCU movies are honorable mentions. Why? Because I've kind of started to lose interest of the MCU because of all the comments that that have been going around about the MCU going to the woke side and banning entertainment, and also the Eternals having another actress I don't like called Angelina Jolie, was a shock a lot of people. But yeah, I don't like her. She's not that great. But yeah, as people say, some people even blocked me for not liking Angelina Jolie, which is absolutely ridiculous. The second most ridiculous reason to block me, besides not liking the goddamn Lion King remake. But yeah, then The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. I saw the first 2 movies. They were pretty scary, pretty spooky, and this will probably be as spooky as the last 2. So of course, it's a spooky movie. Yeah, spooky. And yeah. There are 2 movies I did forget on the worst movies that I was not anticipated for. I think I forgot Minions: The Rise of Gru. But again, it is Illumination. Illumination is just Minions and Tom and Jerry. I forgot to include them on the worst ones, but I went over the reason why the new Tom and Jerry movie will not be good, and I already went over the fact that the new Tom and Jerry's are always do down from the originals, and it'll probably be the same thing. Though, and yeah, I'll go over why Minions Rise of Gru will suck some other day. Get like an actual big video about that. That's why I didn't go over that one either. But yeah, there we go. That is the movies of 2021 I'm excited for. 2021 seems to be the redeeming. And also I put Ghostbusters, as well, and the honorable mentions as well. Ghostbusters Afterlife. I only seen the first Ghostbusters. The first Ghostbusters was pretty great. And 2016 Ghostbusters don't even watch. And it's the reweighing that one out of the timeline. That's completely out of the timeline. And there we go. Those are all the movies of 2021 I want to see. Main movies and honorable mentions. It's really a seems that I used to be a Marvel fanboy, and now I'm basically just turning into a DC fanboy because Marvel is getting woke as whole. So yeah, there we go. There we go. That's the 2021 movies in a nutshell. So, what movies are you excited for? And of course, I'm not going to list movies that I don't watch, like Fast and the Furious or something like that. Now, and so these movies, yeah, and I forgot another honorable mention could be Spirit Riding Free. Spirit was a pretty good movie, but we don't know if that's a theatrical release or a Blu-ray release or just TV only thing or streaming thing. So that's basically it about this video. Goodbye.